Hello and welcome to another episode of Without Pain Wednesday, where we get together once a week to talk about a different topic related to getting out of the back pain cycle for good. This week is a little bit different. I am streaming to you from Bonham, Texas, small town in North Texas near Oklahoma. I'm out here for a family gathering as we celebrate the life of my grandfather. So there actually is no specific topic this week except answering student questions, students from the Core Balance Training Program. We have a bunch of questions to get through, and I have quite a busy week here, so we're going to jump right into it. And this is not a live stream. I am recording this about an hour, a couple hours early. So if you're seeing this, it is a recording. Go ahead and post any questions or comments in the comment section below, and I can get back to you through the comments. But no live today because this week's a little bit different. And so let's get right into it. So let me switch screens here, make sure I'm doing this right. And here we go. So the first question is coming through from Margie, and she is an alumni of the program from about 2 years ago, and she is actually in the alumni membership. And going back through the program, she has a question, and we'll go ahead and read it. It says, I decided not to see the chiropractor any longer. It's not working, so I'm back reviewing. Thank you so much for doing this for me. I forgot how much there is to your program. I was on the floor yesterday really learning and getting more understanding of my core. I spent several hours. I think the first time I missed some of it. That's very true, Margie. I've had multiple people tell me that the second time they've gone through the program, they feel like they missed a lot of things the first time around. And I think that's actually expected at this point because the first time around, you are not ready to learn some of the things that are being taught. And that's one of the biggest challenges for me is that I have to find the most creative but also most practical way to deliver the information, because it's really a process, it's really a progression, and you cannot learn certain things until you've developed the foundation for those things, and you have to be ready for them. So it makes a lot of sense, and I'm glad you're going through again to get you will absorb more and you will pick up things that you missed before. So here's the question. It says, I was wondering, the chiropractor said I shouldn't sit with my feet up to my sides or cross my legs because I throw my hips out of balance. I have to constantly keep them in front of me. Is this true? I never get to totally relax. Also, he wants me sleeping on my side with legs straight or bent at the knee. He says I can never, ever throw one leg over the other. Is this true? Thank you, Margie. So I wanted to address this on the stream because true or not true, it's that's very subjective. I don't think that there's truth to it, and I don't think that there's falseness to it. I think that you're a human being, and what he's asking you to do is to behave like a robot. And that is not something I recommend. I recommend that you listen to your body. It sounds like you are not comfortable following the directions that he's given you, the recommendations. And that's what these are. These are recommendations. And so, number one most important thing of all is you listen to your body. You know more than anyone else what is good and bad for your body because your body communicates that to you. And no one else can feel it on planet Earth except for you. So if you're sitting in a certain position and the doctor or the white coat said, this is good for you, but it feels bad for you, and your body's telling you that through pain or discomfort, you listen to your body over what someone else says, because there are so many different factors that are going into this equation of what's right and wrong for you. And so it's impossible for an outsider to calculate all those different factors. My personal opinion about sitting is what I shared in the stream last week. The live stream topic was sitting. And the number one thing I recommend for people is variety. So variety includes sitting with your feet up and sometimes crossing your legs. But if you're going to cross your legs one way, like say right leg over the left, make sure you cross your legs the other way, left leg over the right, so that you can stay in balance. And so if he's saying it throws your hips out of balance, maybe it's that you're crossing your right leg over the left every single time, and it is throwing your hips out of balance. So we want to counterbalance that, and that's kind of a general rule we want to do for everything in life. If you're going to lean one way or hold your purse on one side, make sure you do it the other way, and that's what we do in this program, and hopefully in life is we strive for balance. It's a constant thing that you do as long as you live, and maybe we can never reach perfect balance, but we're always seeking it. And so that's my advice to you: is strive for balance. If you're going to cross your legs, do it the other way next time, or switch halfway through if you can remember, and do your best and listen to your body. I think that it cannot be good for you to sit uncomfortably, despite what the research says or the doctor says. Sitting uncomfortably is not good for your mind. It's not good for your mental health, and your body is also probably not liking it if it's communicating to you. So listen to your body. Uh, do what you think is best for your body, what feels good, and change it up and get that variety, because that's what we like. We like that movement, and we like it's the spice of life. So hopefully that message gets across, and I'm going to move on to the next question. We are moving through this rather quickly because of time, and sorry, I just got a message coming through. Limited time today, so here we go. We're moving on to the next one. This is in response to a checking in email from Fabiola. She says, hello, thank you for checking in. I'm having difficulty doing the day 3 lesson, back anchor progression. I'm able to engage the core, but not able to get the pelvis off the floor. Help, please. Thank you. Okay, so back anchor progression is the day where we progress from pushing away from the back anchor just to get that feeling of connection. It's all about the feeling, and we progress it to actual movement where the pelvis unweights. And it is not necessary, Fabiola, to get the pelvis to actually come off the floor. There doesn't need to be space between your pelvis and the floor. The goal of this is actually to get it to unweight at the minimum, so there's less pressure of the pelvis pushing into the floor. And maybe if before it was, say, I don't know, 30 pounds of pressure, 40 pounds of pressure into the floor from your pelvis, you can bring it down to 20 pounds or 10 pounds or maybe even 0 pounds. But this is all up to your level of fitness, and it's going to factor in the tightness of your lower back muscles. It's going to factor in the strength of your abdominals and your glutes. And so that's going to be different for everybody. So as long as you're able to make progress, which is lightened or decrease the weight of your pelvis, then you're doing the right thing. And if you can the next day or the next week make more progress and get your pelvis to be even more unweighted, then you're going in the right direction. And then maybe a couple weeks later, you're able to actually create some space between your pelvis and the floor, so the pelvis comes off the floor. Then you are achieving the ultimate goal of this exercise. But it doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong if you can't achieve the ultimate goal on day 1 or week 1 or even week 2. It's up to you, your level of fitness, and we just keep our eye on the prize. We keep our goal in mind, and we work towards it and try to make progress towards it. So hopefully that helps, just to let you know, Fabiola, that you're not doing it wrong. It says you're able to engage the core, but not getting the pelvis off the floor does not mean you're doing it wrong. We just want to unweight the pelvis and then progress from there. So feel free to reach out, ask any follow-up questions, but hopefully that helps for now. We're going to keep moving through due to lack of time today. So the next question is Derek, coming in from Module 2, Day 1. So this is the front anchors awareness lesson, the very first day of front anchors. Derek says, how do I know if I'm doing the front bridge correctly? Can I send a pic for you to make that determination? Front bridge is actually a question mark in my head. I'm not sure if you mean the front anchors awareness, which is the lesson that this is posted in, or the bridge lesson from module 1, day 4. Or maybe you're just talking about actually connecting the front anchors during the bridge. So that's the question mark I have in my head, but I'll keep reading. You say, the last thing I want to do is further injure my lower back. By the way, I have what they call degenerative disc disease. I'm 41 and a former athlete who is still in decent shape, but the lower back tightness and pain prevents me from competing at the level I'd like to compete. From 1 to 10, according to the chiropractic care I've been receiving, the DDD is about a 6. Okay, thank you in advance. All right, Derek, I've talked a lot about degenerative disc disease, not only in the masterclass, but many live streams, and I've talked about how I would just highly recommend referring you to watch one video called, I don't remember the name of the video, but the live stream is called Imaging. Is it good or bad? And I talk about degenerative disc disease, how common it is, how actually normal it is that you are supposed to get degenerative disc disease as you age. The fact that they call it a disease is inaccurate. Everybody's discs degenerate as they age, and so don't feel like you are broken because of that. The problem that we want to address with you is the pain and the muscle tightness, and that is, if anything, the cause of an advanced stage of degenerative disc disease, which I had at age 16. I had moderate degenerative disc disease at age 16, so it happened to me sooner than normal people because of other reasons, and the upstream reasons are related to the back tightness and the pain. But we want to address that, and that's what we do in the program. And for you to find out if you're doing something correctly, we do have the coaching hub where you can upload videos of yourself doing the exercise. And so I would just refer you to that. It's much easier for me to give you feedback and coaching. What I do is movement analysis, and I get really deep into your core connection and breathing and form in the exercises through video rather than a picture. And so we have our students upload videos in the coaching hub. It is an extra membership because I cannot serve all the students in the program. And most students, honestly, don't need the coaching hub. They seem to do fine without that extra level of coaching, but it's available for students who need it. So you can find that in the program. I believe there's links to it, and we have a special membership price for current core balance training members. So, and I don't actually know what that is. I think it was $45 a month at some point in the past. So it might be that, and it is going to go up in the future because as more students come in, I just can't handle the quantity. I don't have the capacity, but definitely. Oh, and there's also a free 7-day trial for that, so you can get in there, upload your video, and hopefully I can get that back to you in time and you can see what it's like. And you can also view, I highly recommend actually this is really good resources to view all the previous videos I've done for the past students in the student hub or the coaching hub. So you get to be able to see the feedback I give because it's very commonly overlapping. Instead of using the word repetitive, I will say overlapping feedback of very similar feedback to many students because there's very similar challenges to people. So check that out. It's called the Coaching Hub, and it is available to any student who needs it for an extra level of higher level of coaching. That should help you get back to, performing at the highest level. It certainly has helped me to improve my form and my relationship with my core and my deep core. So yeah, I would recommend that. We're going to move on to the next one, and we're looking at a question in the back, anchor progression. So this is also module 1, day 3 from Manami. Manami says, how far do you go up on the foam bridge? Oh, this is not a question about that lesson. It's a question about the foam roll bridge. Can this replace the perfect bridge? Thanks. So the foam roll bridge, you would just go up the same amount of basically, a full bridge is a straight line between your shoulders and your knees. So your entire torso is in alignment with from knee to shoulder. And if you look at a side profile, it's just kind of like this, knee to shoulder, and the knees are bent, and then there's, the neck is pushed forward a little bit from the ground. So that angle will stay the same. There will be more excursion. You'll be higher off the ground because you're elevated on the foam roll, but the actual body position doesn't change. Straight line, knee to shoulder. You don't want to overextend through the hips unless you are extremely confident that you are not extending through your lumbar spine and that the extension is going through the hips. And so that's where you would actually go higher into the bridge, and there's actually a little bit of it's not back bend, it's back bend through the hips. So extension through the hips, and you're higher than full bridge. I don't recommend that unless you have extreme confidence about where you're feeling that movement go through. So Manami, to answer your question in a short version, the same level of height, of body position as the normal bridge. Can this replace the perfect bridge or the normal bridge? No, I don't think it should. I think the perfect bridge is perfect in itself. And what the foam roll bridge does is it adds another element to where it helps take your quads out of the equation. And so it would be done in addition to the perfect bridge. And this is more appropriate for people who are overusing their quads. If you're getting if you are feeling like you're getting a burn in your quad muscles on the top of your thighs during the bridge, then this would be appropriate for them. It's not for everyone. Every student in the program doesn't have to do the foam roll bridge throughout the program. You do it once on the day of the lesson, and if it feels good for you, if it feels like it's working for you to help reduce that quadriceps activity, then you can continue it. But I would also continue the perfect bridge and keep working on that, the foundation of this movement, and try and be able to do the perfect bridge without so much quad movement. And so the foam roll can help you learn how to do that. So again, because of time, we're going to keep moving through, and we're going to move on to the next question in the hip hinge lesson from Graydon. And it says, hi Ryan, I noticed when doing this exercise I can connect my anchors, but when I do this my upper back is very rounded and my head is very forward. Is that normal for this stage in the program? It's a really good question, Graydon. It's hard for me to answer whether it's normal, but it is certainly normal, in the general population. Especially in the lower back pain population. And I would say, I'm not sure how many weeks you've been in the program. I know that the hip hinge is in module 5, so that would be week 5. If you are only 5 weeks into the program, then I would take advantage of the extra 3.5 weeks of cushion you have in that 3-month membership to complete the program. You have about 3.5 weeks of cushion to go slow on certain modules. I would take advantage of that and spend extra time in module 2 and 3. 2 and 3 is where you can really open up your thoracic spine. So you said your upper back is very rounded, so I'm going to refer you back to the thoracic mobility on a foam roll lesson. That's in module 3, I believe. So start with that and really get the mobility through the foam roll. And if you need extra mobility, the foam roll's not doing it for you, then I recommend a mobility ball. So it's just like a foam roll, but it's a ball, and you can get the Trigger Point X, Grid X ball, Grid X, I believe, and it's by Trigger Point something, the company. You can find it if you just search those words, you'll find it. And that'll get deeper and get you more mobility through that thoracic spine. So then you can go into the front anchors awareness and the push away through that upper thoracic and get more active control of those muscles and wake those muscles up that control that posture, that ability to push away, and then practice movement with that activity in the bird dog or the front anchors challenge, where we're doing the bird dog but with that front anchor connection, that front anchor push away. So we're movement retraining with that new connection. So that's what I would refer you back to, those 3 lessons and those 3 movements, and then spend maybe a week just really focusing on that, and then get back to the hip hinge and see if you can apply that skill to the hip hinge and the anchor triad and the following movements. But we don't want to skip ahead beyond where we should be. Everybody's fitness level is unique, and you want to match your fitness level to your pace in the program. And so prioritize that, doing the most appropriate things for where you are in your fitness level over trying to rush through the program. And we will always take care of our students. If you need more time, we have the alumni membership, which is heavily discounted just for that purpose. So that's my advice to you. And you'll want to take care of that rounded shoulders, forward head posture, and when you're building your foundation. And that's phase 1 of the program. If you still have a little bit going into phase 2, that's fine. But if you're saying it's very rounded and very forward, I would say to potentially go back and address that more. So great question. I'm really glad you asked, Graydon, and hopefully that helps. Feel free to ask more follow-up questions if you need. And we're going to keep moving through because of limited time today. So we've got one from Jody, and this is in the back anchor progression. This is a 3rd question today in the back anchor progression. So lots of questions on that. That tells me that I need to do potentially a better job teaching if these are the same questions. So we'll find out from Jody. Here we go. It says, thank you. These movements are definitely a new way of moving and really show me where I'm weakest. Question, when pushing away from the back anchor, my pelvis doesn't easily rise, but it does push my upper back and shoulders off the ground. If I don't focus on keeping them down, does that mean my back anchor is actually lower down my back? That is a phenomenal question. So this is a question I've never received before, Jody. So that means that this isn't something I have had to teach before, and I don't even know exactly how to answer it from a physics perspective, from a biomechanical perspective. If the upper body is elevating over before the pelvis, that means that the upper body is lighter than the pelvis. That's simple physics, right? So it could either mean it's just your body type, that your upper body is lighter than your pelvis, or that you are pushing away from an area that's too high on your back. And that's very possible. So you can experiment pushing away from lower down, but the lowest you can go is the bottom of your pelvis. And I would also suggest to bring in more glutes, Jody. So really squeeze your glutes. Try not to get too much of your thighs and your quads and everything involved, but just really squeezing those buttocks muscles and help to curl that pelvis up like a reverse curl. You can do a crunch from the top. Well, this would be the reverse of that, a reverse pelvic curl. And so using your glutes to help, and see if you can use those muscles to really, offset that physics problem that we have, and help lift just the pelvis and really connect with that bottom part of the rib cage in the back, and push away from that with the abdominals. So it's a great question, and it just depends on those factors that I mentioned. So you feel free to get back to me. Let me know if just using more glutes helps. And then, yeah, getting lower, pushing away lower from as low as you can go on the bottom of that rib cage. So we're going to keep moving through again because of time constraints today. And we got one from Joseph coming through from the Module 2 assessment. Joseph says, when it comes to the bridge, should we remain in the bridge position for the full 5 minutes, or should we be doing repetitions of raising and lowering back into the back anchor position? I need to put this in the lesson. I'm sorry, Joseph, that I haven't done that yet. It's a very common question, and that's my fault. So basically, you want to go on in the bridge as long as you can maintain connection, that core connection, that back anchor connection if you're in Module 1, or the all the anchor connection if you're in Module 2, which it looks like you are. So rib cage to pubic bone connection. You just can feel that connection with your hands, or just if you've kind of integrated it into your awareness, you can feel if you're connected without even using your fingertips. But in the beginning, I recommend using your fingertips to feel, and if you can maintain that connection and breathe continuously, you can maintain that full bridge for as long as you can do that. And if you start losing connection due to fatigue or loss of focus, come back down, reset, take a breath, connect to your back anchor to the floor and reinitiate the bridge and come back up. And so that full period of time is 5 minutes. The number of repetitions you do in 5 minutes is completely dependent on your fitness level and your ability to stay connected. The connection is the top priority, and the continuous breathing with that connection is the top priority. And so that could mean for me at this point, it's 5 minutes. I'll do one bridge for 5 minutes. For someone early in the program and they really have a majorly lost connection, that could be only a 10-second bridge and come back down. And they end up doing a lot more repetitions because you don't want to practice the bridge without the connection. So maybe most common average amount of time is 30 seconds to a minute, and so you're doing 5 to 10 bridges in that 5 minutes, or maybe less because of the break time. But hopefully that answers your question. And I really like the wording of your question is lowering back into the back anchor position. That's what you want to do. So I'm glad you've grasped that. And from wherever you're at now, the goal is to progress and improve your ability to stay connected and breathe and improve your length of time you can do the bridge, because we get more benefits from holding a longer bridge. We get more lasting benefits. The benefits are more long term. The muscle lengthening in the hip flexors it lasts longer than doing the short repetitions. So hopefully that answers your question, Joseph. That was the last question, and I got to keep speeding through this because once again, if you didn't catch the beginning of the stream, I am in Texas for a memorial for my grandfather. And so, and we have limited time today due to lots of family events going on. And the last thing I'm doing is actually announcing the winners of the student success survey that we put out a couple weeks ago. We had a really great response to our survey, and so I'm right now just finding out who the winners are. I did not know who they were, and I just got sent them in a message, and I'm posting them in a slide, and I'm going to announce the winners right now. So give me just 1 second. Thank you to everyone who participated in the survey. I wish we could have provided had everybody win, because it was an amazing response. We had, I don't know, well over 100 responses, lots of great feedback from people who have done the program or even part of the program, and we're going to be taking all the feedback that you've given us and making improvements to the program. actually very soon we're going to be making improvements that you as the students have suggested to us. And we're creating a student hub for a community for people to gather and communicate, for students going on this journey together. And hopefully we'll be, releasing that very soon. And and other things as well that I don't even have time to talk about today because of my family situation here in Texas, and I got to get going. But let's announce these winners. We had three, basically, I guess, prizes to hand out. One is a 3-month membership to the Core Balance Training Program, one month membership to the Core Balance Training Program, and one month membership to the Coaching Hub. And so the winners are, drum roll please, boom. We've got Jack Kidwell, winner of the 3-month Core Balance Training Program membership. Helen Chardray, I hope that's spelled right, and I hope I pronounced that right. 1-month Core Balance Training Program membership. And Matthew Salvatore is the winner of the 1-month Coaching Hub membership. And that is the place where you can upload videos of yourself doing movements. I do movement analysis and feedback on your uploaded exercise or movement videos. And that's the best way to improve your performance to carry on with you in life. So congratulations, Jack, Helen, and Matthew. Thank you so much for your survey and the responses that we got from you and everyone else who participated. We are super grateful, and this is just one way that we can kind of pay it back and pay it forward to you guys. So thanks again. I'm going to get going to my family event for my grandfather's memorial here in Texas. And so signing off. And until next time, get down on the floor and connect to your core. And I'll see you next week on our normal Wednesday live stream at 12 o'clock noon Pacific time. Take care, everyone, and thanks again.